Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. You've probably heard some of the latest whispers, some rumors swirling around the NFL, but the one that's really catching everyone's attention is the possibility of Trevor Lawrence. Yes, Trevor Lawrence, potentially heading to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it sounds almost unbelievable at first glance, but when you start digging into the details, the implications are huge. Imagine a scenario where this trade actually happens. It would be a seismic shift in the AFC North, a division that's already been fiercely competitive, with the Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers fighting tooth and nail for supremacy. But this move, it could tip the scales dramatically, and for the Steelers, it could mean finally solving that long-standing quarterback puzzle. Let's back up a little here, because Trevor Lawrence's story is one that's been full of promise, potential, but also some question marks. Drafted first overall in 2021 by the Jacksonville Jaguars, Lawrence was heralded as a generational talent, the kind of quarterback who could transform a franchise. And to be fair, the early signs were promising. In his rookie season, he showed flashes of brilliance, and many believed he was the future of the NFL's quarterback landscape. But as we all know, football isn't played on potential alone. The Jaguars have struggled to build around him, and unfortunately, injuries and inconsistent team performance have hampered his development. In 2023, Lawrence had a decent year, throwing for over 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, but also 14 interceptions, which raised eyebrows. Not terrible, but not quite the breakout season many expected. Then 2024 rolled around, and things got complicated. Injuries limited him to just over 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. It's not that Trevor's career has been a disaster, far from it. He's shown flashes of the talent that made him the top pick. But the question many NFL insiders and fans alike are asking is he the franchise quarterback the Jaguars need? Or is it time for a change, a fresh start somewhere else? This brings us to the possible trade scenario. What if the Jaguars, after all this time, are ready to move on? What if they believe that a change of scenery could be exactly what Trevor needs to reach his full potential? And that's where the Steelers come into the picture. Pittsburgh has been desperately searching for a franchise quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired. They've tried with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, but none of those guys have proven they're the long-term answer. The Steelers are no strangers to making bold moves, and a trade for Trevor Lawrence could be just that, a bold, franchise-altering move. Imagine Trevor in the black and gold, orchestrating plays with the kind of poise and talent that made him a college superstar. Think about the potential of him working with a talented group of receivers, and the Steelers' strong offensive line protecting him. It's no secret that the Steelers' defense remains one of the league's best, but to truly contend, they need a quarterback who can take advantage of that defense and lead the offense with consistency and flair. Trevor's youth, arm talent, and leadership ability could be exactly what Pittsburgh needs to get back to the top of the AFC. Now, on the other side, you have the Jaguars who are, as of now, still trying to figure out their future. After selecting Calvin Ridley and adding other pieces around Trevor, they've been trying to make a push for a playoff run. But if this season ends in disappointment, the pressure on Jacksonville's front office will mount. They might decide that a rebuild or a change at quarterback is necessary. And that's where a trade like this could come into play. The Jaguars could receive a valuable asset in return, like a first-round pick in 2026 and TJ Watt, the Steelers' premier pass rusher. That's a significant haul, especially considering Watt's impact on the Steelers' defense. For the Steelers, acquiring Trevor Lawrence is about more than just filling a position. It's about injecting new life into the franchise, giving fans hope for a sustained contender. Trevor's youth and talent align perfectly with the Steelers' current roster. Plus, with the team's strong offensive line and a defense that remains formidable, Trevor could thrive in this environment. And let's not forget, the AFC North is a brutal division, and having a dynamic quarterback like Trevor could make all the difference in key matchups, especially when competing against teams like the Ravens and Bengals. But let's also be real here. This kind of trade isn't simple. The Steelers would have to part with some significant assets, including future draft picks and potentially TJ Watt, a cornerstone of their defense. It would be a bold move, and not one that's taken lightly in the NFL. But if the Steelers are serious about competing for a Super Bowl in the next few seasons, they might see Trevor Lawrence as the missing piece. And for the Jaguars, if they're not convinced Trevor can be their franchise guy long-term, it might be a move they're willing to make to accelerate their rebuild or retool. Now, thinking about Trevor's career trajectory, it's interesting to note how the NFL landscape has changed. The league is more quarterback-centric than ever, with young stars redefining what it means to be a franchise player. Trevor, at just 25 years old, still has plenty of time to develop, but the window for the Jaguars to build around him might be closing if results don't improve soon. For Pittsburgh, this could be their chance to jump ahead in the division, to finally have a quarterback who can elevate the team beyond just a solid defense and a good running game. And speaking of the Steelers' current quarterback situation, Mason Rudolph and Will Howard are, at best, unproven options. The team has been searching for stability at that position, and every season that goes by without a true, franchise quarterback feels like lost opportunity. The addition of Trevor Lawrence could change that entire dynamic. Imagine him in the Steelers' offense, working with the likes of George Pickens or Deontay Johnson, if they're still on the roster, and leading the team with that signature poise and talent. It's a tantalizing thought for Steelers fans who crave a return to the playoffs and beyond. But of course, such a trade would come with questions. Would Trevor be willing to leave Jacksonville? How would he adapt to the Steelers' system? And what would be the long-term effects of such a move? These are all questions that NFL insiders and fans will be debating for weeks if not months. But what's clear is that the NFL is always evolving, and big trades like this, while rare, can redefine teams and divisions for years to come. Now, let's talk a little about the broader picture. The AFC North is arguably one of the most competitive divisions in football. The Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, always pose a threat with their dual-threat quarterback. The Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, have been a powerhouse the last couple of seasons. The Steelers, with their storied history and solid roster, are always in the mix. Adding Trevor Lawrence to the mix would make this division even more unpredictable and exciting. It could ignite a quarterback rivalry that fans love to watch, the kind that pushes teams to new heights. And the Steelers fans, they've been waiting patiently for that next great quarterback, the guy who can bring back that Super Bowl glory. With Trevor, that hope might finally become a reality. The franchise has a rich history of legendary quarterbacks, and while Trevor might still be young, he has the talent and leadership qualities that could make him a Steelers legend in the making. Plus, the team's culture, coaching staff, and loyal fan base create the perfect environment for a young quarterback to thrive. As we look ahead to the rest of the season, all eyes are on how this potential move could unfold. Will the Jaguars pull the trigger? Will the Steelers make a bold offer? And how will Trevor Lawrence perform if he does end up in Pittsburgh? These questions keep NFL fans on the edge of their seats, especially Steelers fans who dream of a new era of success. It's a fascinating time in the league, with a lot of moving parts and high stakes for everyone involved. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Trevor Lawrence would be the perfect fit for the Steelers? Would you be willing to see some draft picks or even TJ Watt go in a trade for him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. This kind of speculation, this kind of excitement, is what makes the NFL so special. Every season brings new surprises, new storylines, and new chances for teams to rewrite their history. If the Steelers manage to land Trevor Lawrence, it would be a move that could define the franchise for the next decade. Imagine the headlines, the highlights, the unforgettable moments that could come from such a pairing. It's the kind of move that gets fans dreaming, that keeps the passion alive, and that makes the NFL truly the greatest sport in the world.